again for another YenYorkCity live from New York City. What's going on, everyone? I see you guys coming in. Man, I see you. Hey.
Commanding drums.
Commanding drums. What's up? Haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for coming in. How do we sound, guys?
This is a new setup for us. We are ditching the mics for this show.
I feel very strange. I'm
we're using our lapel mics we just got, and the audio is completely different than the way we are.
I like holding something.
At least in our ears. So
let me know, commanding drums. I feel like I sound like I'm in a tunnel.
Yeah, to us in our ears, it sounds like we're in a room, like a large room. But
how does it sound?
Zach says it sounds direct. It sounds really clear. So you guys let us know. We're gonna hear it back after the show for sure.
Okay.
But
well, if Zach says it's good, I believe him.
Yeah.
Because this man.
We just have to talk normally and just get used to not having anything in our hands this time.
All right.
Okay. So.
Is the music too loud?
No. No, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Okay. All right.
Are we live or a rerun? No, this is a live show. We're live in person in the flesh.
We're live, Prime.
No rerun today.
So this is the whole thing about it. If it's live, you get to see us mess up. You get to see us in its raw form. And so yeah, sometimes you see little things that you might not see if it was pre-edited and all that stuff. So how are you guys doing? I see Awesome Prime is in the chat. New York
NJ.
Steph.
NY.
Thank you so much, Steph. Whoa, 15 months in a row. Thank you for the love. It means so much to me that you guys continue to subscribe and enjoy what we do. And we really enjoy having all these guests because they have amazing stories and we love to share them with you guys. It's inspiring and it's also really fun to see what happens behind the scenes. So Zach is one of the many guests that I was so lucky to meet in person, and that's how we met.
We had a show at a place called Club Andromeda at Pearl River, New York. They just relocated to a new location, and they're starting to really establish that spot as like the go-to place for all sorts of types of music. That night we had a eclectic show with a lot of hip-hop artists, rap artists, metal, rock.
Unity Fest.
Unity Fest. And I was unsetting everything after our set, and I was outside, and then we hear this monstrous guitar playing coming in from the inside, and I'm like, what the hell was that?
I stayed and I was just like watching, and the funny thing is one of his bandmates was next to me, but I didn't know it was his bandmate, and the whole time I'm like, oh, like this guy is freaking fire, he's so amazing. He's like he knows because he's his band member, but it was in another band, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy is a beast. And he's smiling there like I know, but he didn't tell me that they knew each other, right? So that was funny, and I was just like this, because he does have like that Pellini, that like incredible tone, and he's progressive in his solo stuff and metal, and then his other projects are also super cool, very like different than each one, but they all have the metal progressive touch that Zach puts into it. He's also a producer. We talked after the show because I was like obviously gonna like get to know him, because I was super interested in what this man,
is what makes about.
Yeah, because I mean right away I was like, it factor, like powerful. I was like, I gotta talk to him, I gotta know who this guy is. So after the show we talked for like, I don't know, maybe 40 minutes, and I was like, would you mind being on the podcast? And then he was like, oh, actually he also has a podcast too. So there's a lot of things in common with wanting to have people and talk and being excited too, because he's also very chatty, and we were talking and I was like, perfect. I was like, well, anyways, enough about that. Let's actually get to put him on the screen and you guys see what I mean. The genius of Ali, Zak Ali, that is. Zach, Are you ready for me, baby?
Yes, good to go.
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
Get this guy on the screen in 3, 2, 1. There he is!
Zaki Ali.
Yes, thank you guys for having me on the podcast. Appreciate it.
Thank you for agreeing. You're the man, Zach. I can't speak like enough about since we met.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So how was the festival? You just played this massive festival with Gojira headlining.
Yes. Yeah, we actually, so I played drums for another artist named ALYXX. And this past weekend, we played in Michigan. Saturday, that was Upheaval Festival. And then we went down to Ohio for Incarceration Festival. We played both of them. And it was absolutely incredible. It's always such a great experience. But really cool with this year, you know, was the timing of these sets. And I mean, just massive crowds poured in, and, you know, it was unbelievable. Just so many, you know, unforgettable moments and stuff.
I can imagine. I mean, the stage, the present, the bill. It was Gojira headlining. I know Poppy was there too, right? But that's another.
Poppy was and was not there.
Was not there. So
Yeah.
I was seeing your stories, and yeah, it was crazy. It was the weekend of that big haze that we had.
Yeah.
Where it looked like we were in one of those war video games. What was it?
Oh yeah.
Call of Duty vibes. It was
air quality was terrible. It was really bad. Luckily, it was actually definitely worse the day before. And the day before that, I think, was even worse. But they had to go on with the festival, and everybody performed too, except for Poppy. But it was awesome. I think by the day we played Saturday, the festival started Friday. Friday was pretty bad. Saturday, midday, it had started clearing up a decent amount. I think that night, the night before, it had rained a decent, you know, and it cleared some of the smoke too. So.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, we had it pretty bad here in New York City. The air quality was bad, but it traveled like all the way to Connecticut, to like other parts.
Oh yeah,
of Canada.
yeah. It was actually like really bad in Ohio. When we were driving to Michigan, there was a point in Ohio where the smoke got so dense that it blocked out the sun. You know, we couldn't even see anymore. And it was almost nighttime, but it wasn't nighttime. It was really weird. But you know, I guess it was pretty close to Canada and the Great Lakes and everything. So.
I mean, it kind of looked apocalyptic, like super metal.
Definitely.
Just started to make a music video, take advantage of the
Right?
opportunity.
I would have thought of that. Like, let's just do something on a mountain. It's like natural, like smoke and aura from like.
Yeah. No, we definitely we have this inside joke. Whenever we see like some nice scenery, we always look at each other and we're like, playthrough video.
Yes.
But it's just like, you know, we see it too often, so it's just like a little inside joke. But
so, out of all the bands that you currently play with, which was the first band you've worked with first?
That's a good question. I've been working with ALYXX since 2017. The Silencer was roughly around the same time, maybe a few months earlier. Maximus is relatively new, although I've been working with Alejandro, the vocalist, writer, for a number of years. We've known each other for 15, 20 years at this point.
Wow.
And then my own stuff, I've been writing for kind of behind the scenes since 2014 or so. It just never really became like a full rendition and a live band thing until maybe 2 years ago. So that's, you know, it's relatively new. And, you know, along the way, there's plenty of other bands I was involved with too. But yeah, it's all part of the scene and, you know, one big ecosystem, I guess.
So being a drummer and a guitarist, I gotta ask you, which was your first instrument that you
Oh,
honed?
definitely guitar.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's interesting because most people know me as a drummer, and I've been out there as a drummer more all these years. But yeah, I was playing guitar for maybe 10 years before I even touched the drum kit.
Wow,
And
because you're amazing at both. So I don't. Usually, it's like drummers get into guitar, so it's usually you
yeah.
usually hear that when I talk to a lot of drummers that are
Yeah, I don't
guitar.
think I even would have gotten into it unless it was like out of necessity. I was writing a bunch of stuff when I was younger, 13, 14 years old, and I eventually got this drum machine and I would program things. It was the Boss DR880, and I don't know, the real OGs will know
Yeah,
what
yeah,
that
yeah.
Yeah.
what that is. But I was always programming drums and watching these bands, and by default, slowly started making more double bass stuff, and I could just never find a drummer that could play this stuff, and eventually. It was like a interesting transition because I had a group of friends in high school. They got into jam bands like Disco Biscuits and Humphreys McGee, and we would just put our instruments together in one space and just improvise for hours. And it sounded horrible,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Start somewhere.
in the
Yeah.
process of doing that and hosting these things, I would have a drum kit there, so I started sitting behind the kit and practicing some technique, and it was like I mentally knew what I wanted to do, but I had to gain the physical technique to be able to do it.
So, when you learned drums, did that help you alter your approach to the guitar at all?
Absolutely, 100%. I think at the point where I had started or getting on the drum kit, I found myself really kind of, I don't want to say repeating the same patterns, but limited as far as if I was riffing or even playing leads or anything, I would find that I was playing a lot of the same patterns. And I think, when I got into drums, it wasn't like I'm just gonna also play drums. I basically like only solely did drums for like a period of like 4 or 5 years. I didn't stop playing guitar, but I was barely touching the guitar. And I mean, I got so into drums and understanding odd rhythms and studying bands like Meshuggah and textures, and I think really understanding those subdivisions, how to go between, play two, three, four different things at the same time. It really kind of opened my ability of phrasing on guitar.
Mm.
And both are completely different, but they work hand in hand too. Because anytime I'm playing anything on the drum kit, I'm hearing melody, like behind whatever I'm playing, and that's like I feel like a part of remembering everything hit for hit.
Yeah. So, when you first picked up the guitar, you said was it about 10 years ago? You said.
No, 10 years before I started drums. It was
10 years before.
in I think it was 2001, actually.
Ah.
So a while ago, 25 years.
And then you started like on your own, or you took lessons?
I had taken lessons for the first 2 years I played. Just a local music shop. Odibella's, I don't know if anybody's familiar with. But I had a really good teacher, and he kind of just showed me. I think that was like a big transition point as far as like my influences, because that's when I really started learning some of the older classic, songs where metal was really like derived from. It wasn't just like, like learning from the greats like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, Ozzy, and all these, the people who created the sound.
So, what was the first song you tried to tackle on guitar?
The very first song I tried to tackle on guitar, there was a couple of them. It was definitely Enter Sandman. Crazy Train was one of them. Paranoid. It was just getting into these great guitar players back in the day. Like, it was so different because it was an interesting time in music also, like early 2000s. where skateboarding was such a big thing. It was a part of this whole culture, and new metal was like at the pinnacle, like the peak at that point. And Linkin Park came out with Hybrid Theory, and Limp Bizkit was on top, and it was a different time. So I think that's what I listened to or was into just from going to skate parks and kind of the influence that was around me. But when I started playing guitar, that was the real moment where, okay, now I'm gonna start listening to music or like paying attention to guitar players and where that comes from, kind of learn from that.
Incredible. So I want to ask you, because you said Black Sabbath, you said Metallica. So
Yeah.
what are your top 5 guitarists and your top 5 drummers that you would say you took inspiration into your sound?
Top 5 guitarists, top 5 drummers. Okay. I was definitely very largely influenced, by Randy Rhoads. Like there's something that always stood out about his playing to me. I liked Sabbath, I liked Ozzy, but there was something about, specifically there was like this Ozzy tribute record with Randy Rhoads. They actually put the record together after he passed, but it was of live clips he had played, and some of the playing on there was just, it was ferocious. It was incredible. Like the way things were melodically approached and everything. But then, I learned from other guitar players moving forward. There was definitely my Dream Theater phase. Like, definitely got into John Petrucci. Dream Theater was one of those bands that was like, you got to listen and learn from all of them. So Mike Portnoy was definitely up there.
You're
I'm trying to think.
speaking
What
to
are the
Luna directly, because that's like his favorite
Oh yeah,
band.
yeah, yeah. That was a huge part of, the thing was, even Judas Priest, Glenn Tipton, KK Downing, those guys were great. Iron Maiden, Adrian, and it was there's so many. Even to name 5 is like it's not.
It's not fair.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then it progressed over the years. It became more like jazz fusion and more of the progressive stuff as I got into Dream Theater, and I really heavily got into Planet X, which was ex Dream Theater keyboard player Derek Sherinian, and it was Virgil Donati on drums.
Wow.
I always thought Virgil Donati was like, greatest drummer ever. Still to this day, like I don't think anybody will really play like him in history ever again. So there was so much to learn from that. It's like those records, you could listen to them thousands of times and learn something new from it every time. Literally, I'm not even exaggerating when I say that. So that was really good. There was definitely, see, with drums it's different because there's like a whole set of like genres almost kind of generalize like the kinds of techniques drummers are using, if that makes sense. So like if if you're listening to death metal, it's a lot more about blast beats and maintaining speed, but it's a give and take. There's a balance between the two, because if you're playing, let's talk about like tempo. If you're playing under 190, 180, then everything you're playing, it's got to be hard hitting. It's got to like really hit. But if you're playing over those tempos, 190, 200 beats per minute, then like that hard hitting is still important, but it's not gonna, it's more about the technique and being able to actually physically do what's required. So it's like, the stick can't physically move away from the head further than a certain point if you're going past a certain speed, because it's not even going to get back to the drum or the kick drum or whatever. So I think there's like you talk about influence from death metal drummers, that's like one whole category of its own. But then you talk about other drummers that have influenced, like Eric Moore, or like, you learn gospel chops and like different chops around the kit, how to navigate. And I think a big part of that is like, each of these genres kind of pigeonhole themselves into like one thing. And so trying to stay kind of open to that and learn from different drummers. I always think it's really interesting because drummers, there's no melody involved in the instrument, right? Like you might hear a melody in your head or whatever, but if you sit down, like I've hosted these drum sheds, and if you sit down in a room with like 4 or 5 really good drummers, their whole series or set of influences that led them to that point is like completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it, you know, everybody has so much to say in their own way. So, you know, I have to definitely appreciate that. And, you know,
Speaking on the contents of writing, like when you wrote your drum parts for your songs,
yeah.
you wrote it, you actually played on it, right?
Yes.
And then you recently had gotten a drummer to be able to play those parts that you had to show how to play.
Right.
Was
So,
it hard
That's
finding
hard.
someone that was capable of doing what you wrote?
oh yeah. I initially just kind of went into writing this stuff without thinking about playing it live. Like I just wanted to make the record just to have it. And so it's interesting if you listen to like the stuff I have out right now. I released most of the record as singles before the record was out, and on the singles is actually me playing drums and guitar and bass and key. So I played everything on the singles just to have the songs done. But then the official album version, I had been playing with Greg Telfan on drums and Devore on bass, and you know, they had been playing the songs with me a year and a half, 2 years at that point. So they had put in the work and like really learned everything hit for hit. When I say that, I mean like Greg and I would sit in this room with 2 drum kits next to each other, and it was specific down to the point of like, okay, you have to start this fill with your left hand so that your right hand is free.
Yeah.
And it's physically possible to play this certain thing. So I mean, we spent months and months just ironing out all the details. But he put in the work, and so I felt like after playing the songs out and playing live for a bit, then they actually like deserve to be on the record. It goes back to what I was saying about respecting the musicianship, right? Like a lot of artists don't know how to do that, and I think the fact that they had the time behind it and they put in the work and they've been playing the songs live, it did bring that extra little bit of edge and a little bit of character to it, where, you know, Devore had worked out his tone. He's a tone snob. So like, you know, the way he had his bass tone dialed in to work in context of the songs was just something I hadn't put the time in on. And, you know, you have to respect those little things. And if you really want the best of the best to happen, just let it happen, not fight it and get in the way of it.
Yeah, when it's funny that we're on this topic because I write a lot of our songs, and it's hard to find musicians that can play what we're achieving.
For sure.
Which is funny because I'm not a guitar player.
Yeah.
know? And I'm more of a rhythmic player. I don't lead or anything like that.
Yeah.
Someone said that we need a virtuoso to play our music, and I'm like, I don't think so.
It's not that difficult. What I wrote wasn't that hard.
And I'm thinking of it like, if I was a guitar player, can I play it? But I'm like, I'm playing the guitar, so a guitar player should be able to play what I'm playing because I'm not a guitar player, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. I think in 1 or 2 of the more recent songs, I definitely went into it with the, you know, thinking about the members as musicians with the writing, as far as like, you know, because there's definitely a lot of things technique wise that I know I had done, or like I just think completely different as a drummer. You know, like when it comes to double bass, you know, I have a doubles technique I've figured out where it's like right, left on the kick drum. And you could use that technique to basically play whatever pattern or series of pattern rudiments if you want. So I know our drummer, Greg, he's not a doubles guy on double bass. And there's a big, I don't want to say big disparity or, you know, discrepancy there, but he can also play singles just straight up, you know, at like 230 beats per minute. I can't do that. So it's like there's certain ways that I'll utilize the technique to influence the writing, but it might even be something that's like physically impossible for Greg to play because of the set of techniques he's doing. So it's like, we try to work it out in a way where it's, playable all around, and we're actually delivering the message. But at the end of the day, it's like you can't let the limits of other people prevent you from writing the music that you're truly trying to write.
Right, exactly.
It's got to be honest and what it is from what you're thinking.
You really lucked out because the stuff you write is like incredible. So
oh, trust me, these guys, they when I initially even asked or brought it up, they were like, yeah, we'll never be able to play this, like it's out of our leagues, whatever. But they, again, they were willing to put in the time and learn the stuff, and like they're actually about it. So yeah, I mean, if I had met Greg 10 years before, I probably wouldn't have even played drums.
No.
It's crazy. And in fact, there's a really funny story. Like, Greg is like a big reason of why I play drums in general, because the first band I actually really started playing drums for, Greg was filling in on drums. And I remember walking into the rehearsal space and watching him play, and I was so blown away and intimidated. Like, I had never seen like a real drummer like that before. And I was a kid. I was like 19 at the time. And he's like, why don't you get on the kit and show them something, whatever. So I just played a little something, and Greg told the band, he's like, hold on to this guy, like he's gonna change this band for the better. And sure enough, they took his advice, and next thing you know, I was playing drums for Darkness Descends for those 5-6 years, and that really made me a drummer. Like, actually, if it weren't for Greg, putting me onto that, it wouldn't have even happened. So it's,
shout out to Greg.
The connection really goes back, and I'm always appreciative of it. And you got to remember your roots and where you come from, and
That's so
always
special.
appreciate that.
Having those connections and being together for that long and writing music and growing together, it's the best, because it's really one of those things that when you have a connection with a band, that's when you can really make the magic happen, the music, and it all resonates because you both have that kind of
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I had known Greg for a long time, but we didn't even work on anything until maybe 10 years after that. So it was, we already always saw each other in the scene and stuff and supported each other and everything. But it's cool what it turned into all these years later, and that we're all still in it and doing it.
So you and Greg are in 2 projects together, or is it just?
Yeah, so I have my studio business, recording studio business. I work with a bunch of different bands. Greg has a project that I've helped him put together of his own solo stuff as well, called Of the Light. And so when it comes to the recording, he actually has all these songs completely mapped out in his head and just records, and it's like perfect. I don't understand how he does it, because he has like vocals and everything, but I play guitar on the records, and now live with him as well. And of course, I'll help him out however he needs, But yeah, that project is called Of the Light, but that's essentially like Greg's brainchild. And what's so interesting about that is, at first he was like, I want to play guitar and do vocals and this and that. And I'm like, you could play guitar, you could do vocals, but you have to play drums. You're just too good, So I was like, he really wanted to do vocals. So I was like, man, just get on the kit and just try the vocals. Just see what happens. And sure enough, he's, next thing you know, he's like singing while playing these complicated parts. It's something to see. It's incredible. I don't understand how he does it. But, I also thought, like, if he has a guitar with him, maybe it would help his sense of pitch. But there was an element of him playing drums and like being amped up in the moment that almost makes him more on pitch. And it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know, but it is what it is.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's Of the Light.
Sing. That's like, geez, that's like the ultimate. Like, I feel
It's
like
crazy.
every drummer wants to secretly be a singer, but
Look
now
at Phil Collins.
yes.
Yeah, I think it's just such a sight to see. Like, just the visual of it is like such an oh shit factor that, like, you know, I keep telling him like just keep pushing it, keep promoting it. You gotta get it out there like that. But you
There's
know,
a lot of drummers that become singers. Like Chris Cornell was a drummer,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
Yeah, it was.
And the lead singer of Nothing More was a drummer and then moved into
mm,
singing. Um, Mike Portnoy sings.
yeah,
Yeah. He's like
Yeah.
a background, like.
Yeah, but he can carry pitch. from what
But
I
I'm
heard.
talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
like complicated shit and being
Yeah,
able to
being able
wail.
to
That's like your
split your
brain,
brain.
is wired like
Oh
better.
yeah. See, that's the thing. I'm always trying to push Greg. Like you could, you could ask him. I'm always challenging him, like to do the next best thing. So it's like when he got on the drum kit and started doing vocals, I was like, let's do a cover, but like, let's really see like how far you can go with these vocals. Like, are you really a singer? So we did an Iron Maiden cover.
Oh,
And I was like, if you could sing some Bruce Dickinson and play drums, then it's, we're good to go. And sure enough, he killed it. It was a cover of the Iron Maiden had put out the record Stratego or Stratego. I don't know how you pronounce it, but we did one of the songs off that record when it had just come out, and it turned out really cool. And actually, so Brandon, he's a guitar player that plays in ALYXX. He was on that cover with us as well, and I'll be sure I'll send over a link and you can check it out.
From what I've hear, you guys share a lot of your musicians between all the bands.
Yeah,
That-
yeah. I think over the years, playing in all these different bands, I think it's kind of weeded out a lot of like the people that aren't serious about it. I don't want to say bullshit, but yeah, weeded out a lot of the bullshit. So we have like a really good crew of just people that are about it and trying to do it and share the same goals. And, it's really important. It also allows things to happen a certain way that just wasn't possible before.
I think that's the main goal and key is finding people that are super serious. They're like, let's do this, no bullshit, and they
Yeah.
tackle it and they finish it. Because a lot of people you start bands with, they'll like half-ass it, or they'll start a project, one person slacks off, another person isn't taking it completely serious.
Definitely.
And then the
I mean,
business aspect too, and doing
yeah,
it
yeah.
successfully.
Absolutely, the business aspect. I mean, there's so much more to it even than just that. It's like, even down to personality. Like,
Right.
like I feel like I don't get along with people that are like too anxious or like, start making rash decisions that are just not making sense. So it's like we have to stay level and grounded through all of this craziness, and
Yeah.
But when
I
you
think
find
that's
your
a huge part
guys,
of it.
it's like, it's easy because you guys all have the same kind of goal and mentality. And
Yeah.
it's great that the personalities mesh because that's like, it's a marriage.
For
You have-
sure.
You gotta
to
have a
really-
sense of professionalism too.
Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
it's like there's a lot of people that would play and then they like what we have on our website. Like when we're looking for musicians, we always state that you represent the band in the band and off the band. If you are
Yeah.
part of our roster, what you do outside of the band also reflects the band. So
Absolutely.
like that
That
sense.
could also,
Yeah.
like you were saying, a lot of people get turned off by that. It's not all a party. That's what I mean.
Right.
And so it weeds out a lot of the people that are not about it, like you said. So I
Yeah.
think that's
I mean,
why.
there's other. It's not even like you can party all you want, but it's like you gotta know your limits. Like
Yeah.
some people just whatever. Some people smoke and just can't handle it.
Yeah.
Or like whatever. So
hang,
it's like
then-
if you can't exactly, it's like if you can't do that, just like acknowledge it, and that's fine. Just. But yeah, I think that's a big part of it. People get carried away, and it shows. It shows in the work ethic and the playing, just how serious people are about it, and all ties in together.
I want to show a clip of you
Yeah.
performing at Dingbats. This was last year.
Okay.
You're playing The Crush.
Okay.
little context behind this in the show?
Yep. Dingbats. This was definitely one of our earlier shows. I believe this was one of Devore's first shows on bass. And this is just us as a three-piece. So Devore's actually, since the last time we even saw each other, he's gotten an 8-string and a rig, and he's playing 8-string now. And I had played, Chris was playing bass when we played together, and so we have Chris on bass now. Devore's playing 8-string with me, and I'm on 8-string, and then Greg on drums. So now the full lineup is a 4-piece, but this is an earlier rendition of the song "The Crush" prior to them having recorded on the record and stuff.
Yeah, let's see Zach. I mean, he looks really strong and powerful, and he is. And you guys get to see it now.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, this is earlier on.
Hot stuff.
Wow, it's so crazy looking back at this. It's been so long since that video. This is not touched up recording at all. This was 100% mixed from the board.
That's from the board?
That's from the board.
Jeez.
I didn't even, there was no touch up on that.
Who was doing the sound that day? Was it
so
Chris?
Chris Hamill.
Yeah,
Chris
that's
Hamill
Oh,
is,
that's why.
Yeah.
yeah.
We played at Dingbats.
Great.
And it
Yeah.
was not Chris.
It wasn't Chris.
Yeah, Chris is awesome. I mean, we've worked together.
Wish.
We have a podcast together, so we've been doing a lot of cool stuff, and he's always kills it with live sound.
Wow. Incredible.
So, how did you meet Chris?
Yeah.
This is an interesting story. So it all ties in together because I went to Bergen Community College to finish some music credits that I had initially started at Hofstra, and my focus at Bergen Community College was more on recording technology, and for our final project, Chris Hamill we were in the same class together, so we were actually partners.
Oh.
For like the final project of like the whole program, basically. So we needed to, though the project was essentially record a song from scratch. We had just started learning some Pro Tools. This is like 2013, 2014. And at the time, I had already been playing drums for Darkness Descends. We had played some big festivals. I had really gotten out there and gotten some experience in the industry. But this was right when our guitar player, Dean, he had just picked up an 8-string. And he had gotten 2 of them. It was the Ibanez RG8. And, I had this project, so I was like, man, let me see one of these things. Like, and that project with Chris Hamill was actually what started all of the solo music I'm writing. So it was
Oh,
crazy how full circle it came around all these years later. After, doing this college course and everything, Chris and I are probably the only two people in that class that still do this and, you know, live for music like that. So it's awesome to have connected with him back then and, for him to have seen it come to life and then be a part of it now, it's so cool.
that is very Dream Theater too, right? Because didn't they meet that way too?
In college,
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Petrucci, Mike Portnoy, and John Moyoung was in Berkeley. And
Nice.
then they
That's
met up with
beautiful.
Kevin Moore, was a childhood friend of theirs, and then
And
Charlie
look at you
Dominici.
guys now. So you guys have a podcast.
Oh,
Oh, what happened?
we lost him.
He back.
We'll wait for him to come back. Looks like he's having some network issues there.
But yeah, you guys see, Zach is incredible. I mean, now you know why I was like in awe when I saw him in person.
Yeah. Get back.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had a call coming in. Yeah, no problem. It was so cool. Even looking back at this old footage, because at this point we would consider it old. I think it was 2024, early 24.
Yeah.
And just watching it, I could see. I mean, personally, I could see my hesitation in certain spots, and I've definitely learned how to like work around some of these things and even play some of those parts slightly differently. But I don't think most people would notice. But
Nobody
it's-
noticed,
No one would
honey.
notice.
yeah.
That's like us. Like when we're
You're
playing
so
live,
perfect.
right? We're so hard on ourselves on the way
Oh, yeah.
we think
Yeah.
we sound because we hear our own mixes in our ears, and then she wants to make sure
You
she's
have
being
to be.
projected. Like
Yeah.
people can hear her sing.
And then I'm a Virgo.
And I'm
so-
like, the front of house will take care of that. Everything will sound perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And when we hear it back from videos, we're like, yeah, actually, it really does sound good.
Yeah, it's really easy to judge yourself before hearing other people's perspective. But yeah, I guess it is a Virgo thing, like you said. It's just, I don't know, always chasing perfection.
And I think that's why it's like and then you see back and you see the little things that you're like, okay, I need to improve that. I need to, I did that.
Right.
But then no one notices. And
Yeah.
you're just like, okay, so you keep doing that and then, it's just going to get better.
Yeah, it
and
all
better.
adds to the bigger picture.
And that was, so the H string thing, that's another thing.
Oh.
Finding
Yeah.
someone
That can play in H string.
Right.
Right.
You can borrow ours for now. You have to get.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. When I first wrote an eight strings, it's interesting. This first song that I wrote with Chris Hamill, I mean, I wrote the song for the class project we were doing, and I didn't have an eight string. I didn't even have an eight string, so I just borrowed one and put together something cool. And I think a big part of it was, I don't know if the music in Darkness Descends, it was very like breakdown centric. There was a lot of odd rhythms and stuff, and I think that was the first time I was really getting into kind of just hearing the sound of extended range guitars and what they could do with odd rhythms, and not just like playing opens and ones and whatever, but also the difference between palm muting and an open note and combining the two to make rhythms. Like I felt like before that point, I had heard Bleed by Meshuggah and all this stuff, but I never thought it was like anything too crazy, like from a guitar player perspective. But then when you go and sit behind the drum kit and actually start to break it down and realize that there's a certain nuance here, it's like you have this breakthrough and you're like, oh my God, this is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And so after doing that on the drums more than just a couple times and then picking up an eight string and trying to write with it, it really did change everything. And it was more about focusing on the rhythm and the odd patterns or whatever was going on as one thing, and then the leads and how you're gonna tie everything together and understand the phrasing of it as another thing. So, kind of merging the two worlds together just with the years of experience,
If it wasn't for Sleep Token,
Yeah.
I don't think I would have had the experience of what an 8-string could do.
Right.
And then we try to recreate the Sleep Token songs, and we had bought a 7-string Solar from a friend of ours,
Nice.
and I still had to drop two.
And I pushed him. Like, that's the fun thing. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Nice.
I was like, okay, you could do it. And he was just like, all right, this is my attempt. And he did it. And it was like, now you can write on an 8-string.
Or a 7-string.
Nice.
Or a 7-string.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I always tell people, like, people are very intimidated by extended range, and it's just like, no, just look at it like a normal guitar, and you have the low notes if you need them. And don't be riffing on the low strings. It just sounds horrible. You just play chords with that. And it sounds great, But that was another big thing is like, I remember when we initially tried to mix this song back in 2014, it was like, it sounded horrible. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know how to separate 8-string and bass. This isn't the same range, right? Like the low E is the same note on the two. So it's, that took years and years. But I think what's so crazy is like, even at that time, there was an idea of like how I wanted it to sound. It just took the next 10 years of actually actively mixing and producing to like really dial it in and figure it out. And I remember, I think it was 2011, I played Bamboozle with Darkness Descends, and we were at the festival, and we had shared the stage with Animals as Leaders.
Wow, yeah.
And this is like, I didn't even know, I'd never heard of them before. And I mean, being on the stage, but also like hearing it with that sound quality and everything, that was like such an eye-opener, just like seeing what's possible, like with extended range. And it wasn't like we weren't playing extended range at that point. It was just like, wow, that's how you can really make it speak, And it was, even with their music, it was completely different from anything you'd hear now. You'd think about their first record, and it was awesome, just seeing that live.
So, with your experience now, having to mix between the 7-string or even 8-string with the hi dude, how's it going?
This is great. Bass player, he's awesome. He's the man. He's actually played. We've played a bunch of shows together. He played bass in Zaki Ali for some shows in the beginning too. But yeah, Rick's the man.
Nice.
We work on a bunch of different things together all the time.
Shout out to Rick.
Shout out to Rick.
Hello.
So, what is your advice on how to best mix the bass against a 7-string or 8-string guitar? Because
Okay.
I'm also, I play a lot of our stuff in 7-string, and it is finding that balance between the frequencies so they don't clash.
Yeah. So if you listen to, I don't know if you've ever seen Meshuggah live or, heard them do like a sound check or anything, but if you listen to the bass and the kind of grit. Oh, okay. First of all, bass is like a whole thing in the context of this situation with extended range guitars, because a lot of the bands that do play with 8 strings are picking bass, and that has a certain sound versus finger picking, and not to say like Rick can fucking has all the attack you would need finger picking, no pick needed, but there's a certain level of grit and distortion in the context of extended range guitars that you have to kind of make the bass and the guitars one tone, right? And so in a mix setting, when you're trying to achieve that, it's a lot harder to do. The real problem comes in with the low end competing on the guitars and the bass. So a lot of it is kind of taming the low end on the guitars, And the way I was doing that for a long time was multi-band compression. So you multi-band compress, you could set two bands like 0 to 150 and 150 to 400K. If you multi-band compress those areas, you could still kind of, you're not exactly EQing out all of the low-end information out of the guitar, but retain as much of it as you need to blend in a mix well. And then you feed that through a bus compression and you get all the, all the right low end you need in the mix. But more recently, I found that even doing some of the multi-band compression was taking away too much of the body of the guitar, and you do need to retain some of that. It's the balance between the tone of the guitar and the bass is so crucial in that context. So what I've been doing more recently, so I actually, I'm putting together a studio build for a friend, and I have all this incredible gear here, and I have a pair of real Pultecs, and the Pultec, if you don't know what it is, it's a tube EQ, but it's like arguably, one of the best EQs of all time. And so the unique characteristic of it is you could attenuate a certain frequency while also boosting it. But when you turn that attenuation knob, it's like if there's something harsh in the mix, it just like smooths it out. So rather than multi-band compression, I'm now attenuating the low end on the guitars to kind of just get it at the right spot where it's not too much for bass, still allowing the bass to cut through and getting the low end from that, and then feeding that into bus compression. It's like combinations of everything that add to the final picture. So it's like making sure you're not doing too much of it here or too much cut here, and like, I guess that's it's a lot of advice, but
It's a lot of dancing between the frequencies.
yeah, you have to know exactly how much of what you need to do on every step of the process.
And then
So,
you also
yeah.
have the kick kind of pushing through that
Yeah.
too. So there's another thing you have to like push in and
Yeah,
out.
a little side chain on the kick doesn't hurt between both. I'll even side chain the kick to bass, probably as much as like 6 decibels. Usually a little less on the 8-string guitars. Maybe 2-3 decibels tops, but that's even it's up for debate. I mean, some people are completely against sidechaining the kick, but it does cut through and does allow you to not have to push it so hard and
And it's not
get
like
too much low end
a
on it.
side chain for level, it's more side chain for frequency, right? Like you're side chaining the frequency the kick is in, so it pushes down those frequencies.
Right, you could select the frequency also, but it's generally like more on the low end. Yeah, like I mean, also the click, like a lot of the distortion on the bass in that context can fight against the click of the kick drum. So I guess overall it is like a volume thing. Like every time the kick hits, it's dropping by whatever 5-6 decibels, and you don't have to turn up the kick as much in the mix in order to really punch. So there's all these tips and tricks, but it's just so crazy how like one part of the process, like further down, can completely change everything you're doing. So it's just being aware of the overall bigger picture.
Yeah.
All those little details.
We have
Yeah,
about an
yeah.
hour into our show, and I'd like to take this moment. If you've made it this far and you're enjoying yourself, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch if you're watching on Twitch, and now on Kick. We're also streaming on Kick. And yeah, join our newsletter to come soon. I think the link is on the website at YenYorkCity.com to be updated on things that's happening with YenYorkCity and our future show dates. We have a guest prepped for September right now because they're working out their schedules for their tours and their album release to come in September, and that's going to be Vanaheim. So it's going to be awesome having them on.
Progressive, they're very heavy, but then they have that folk element, violins.
Yeah, they're folk, death metal,
Yeah.
progressive symphonic
Nice.
music,
From
which
the
is crazy.
Netherlands.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
So they just signed on with a new label, and we're excited to hear more about them in the near future. But yeah, Thanks for
Awesome.
watching and hanging out. So, continuing on with our conversation, Zach.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the festival.
Yeah, I
he
have
just
the
had.
video that you just sent me. It was the Upheaval.
Yes. Yeah. So, Upheaval. It was such a crazy experience.
How did you
Where do
get
I
on
even
that
begin?
bill? I have to ask, how did you get on that bill? Like,
Well, so I've been playing with ALYXX for a while. She works with management, management that's connected with people that run these festivals and stuff. And so we've been playing. I think this was the fourth like major festival I've played with her. At this point, we played Blue Ridge Rock Festival in 2023. We played Incarceration Campgrounds. No, Blue Ridge Rock Festival was 2022. That was when bands were just getting back after pandemic.
yeah.
Then we played Incarceration Campgrounds 2023. Then last year we played Incarceration. Like we opened the whole festival. That was really cool.
Wow, that's awesome.
And then last year we also played this bill in Ohio called AMMA. It was like armored MMA fighting, but there were 6 bands on the bill. One of them being us. There was a couple other friends bands that work with the management, and it was Drowning Pool and Sleep Theory and Lamb of God headlining. It was so cool.
That's so sick. Wow, that's
It was awesome to see them in
incredible.
like it was I don't even want to say smaller context, but it was a smaller stage than Incarceration. And we met them and we were hanging out with them and stuff. It was really cool. And then now this year we did Upheaval and Incarceration. So it was really good. Slowly but surely like building it. And one thing I've noticed too is like in the midst of or the process of playing all these festivals and like really solidifying the band and the lineup, it's come such a long way. You could see the reaction people have to the set now versus back in 2022 even. And
Yeah.
it's like
And people singing the
this-
songs and interacting. and
literally
feeling
singing the
it.
songs. I mean, even just having to sign autographs and taking pictures with people. It's so cool. It's the coolest thing to see that all this work that we've been putting in with original music is like turning into something.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So,
But yeah, Upheaval Festival. It was completely awesome. The first day we get there, there's smoke in the air. The first day was Friday. So earlier on, it was actually not too crowded because I think a lot of people were still getting out of work. I mean, there were still thousands of people there, but it wasn't like, we went to our second stage and we saw a band or two, and the bands rocked it. They all sounded good, but like, I was like, oh no, like, where's the crowd? Like it was maybe a couple hundred people at most. So the way they had it set up, it was cool because there was main stage. It was this big hill, right? And main stage was at the bottom of the hill, and there was a second stage, which was the stage we played. It was called the Rising Stage. And then at the top of the hill, there was another stage called the Lookout Stage. But from what I gather, it was a really big hill. So walking up this thing was like a whole task. It was like 90 degrees outside.
Wow.
So, once you go up the hill, you stay up there for a little bit. But if you come back down, you're most likely not going to walk up the hill again.
yeah.
In 98-degree weather.
Yeah, so, and it was all the smoke from the fires was, very
Yeah,
prevalent
you're already
also.
like.
So, yeah, between that and the, people getting out of work on Friday, I think Friday could have been a little more crowded or whatever. But by the end of the day, who was okay? Yeah. So we saw a couple bands on side stage, and then the Rising Stage, the stage we played, and then we saw it was Poppy, and I know a couple of us were looking forward to seeing the set and stuff, and I had overheard somebody talking behind me at the second stage. It's like, oh yeah, I heard Poppy canceled like an hour ago, and I was like, oh, that's weird, because when we went back up on the hill, we could see that the band was setting up. And so I was like, all right, whatever, I guess they're playing. And sure enough, band comes out. It was all over the media and headlines where, the band came out
I mean, they still
And
showed up. Props to them.
Yeah, the band did, yeah.
yeah, they still showed up, but I mean, seeing that viral moment happen in person, that was definitely it was crazy, you know, like
Something you guys wouldn't do.
yeah, I mean, definitely, I yeah, I guess not, but
It is what it is.
yeah, it is what it is. I'm not saying whatever this and that, but just from being in the space, I could tell that the audience was definitely very upset about it, and a lot of people were walking away,
yeah.
and the band, it was just like, you know, the songs were good, they were instrumental and stuff, but like, it wasn't. I don't know. Like all the drums were samples, all the guitar tones sounded digital. The band killed it, but also the songs were not instrumental songs. So it was just like you have this big open spot for a verse, and there's nothing happening there, you know.
Yeah.
And meanwhile,
like
the band is
animals as
just
leaders.
standing there, not like moving at all. It was awkward. I don't know. It was interesting to say the
Guitarist
least.
should
Let's put it that way.
It's like the guitarist should just did like a solo lead section to mimic the
Yeah,
vocal
yeah,
line. That would've
anything.
worked.
I mean, those guys
But
were
imagine they probably
clearly
didn't
well
know.
seasoned.
Yeah.
They were like really great musicians. I have nothing to take away from
I
that.
wonder how they felt. Like,
I
Shitty?
think honestly, I think they were really pissed because I kept seeing them walk off the stage after every song, and it sounded like they were like yelling at her to come on the stage.
Oh,
This
so
is what
she
I
was
heard. I was
there,
pretty
but
close
she
to the
didn't
front.
Walk out?
She didn't walk out.
she was there.
And-
That,
But
that's
she was there.
Well, so that's the thing. You know, she claims she wasn't there or whatever, but I swear I saw her. I know I saw her. And I actually
Oh.
even saw a picture of people posted a video of her like sitting side stage, like texting.
No way.
Meanwhile, there's like 20,000 fans out front waiting to see her. And the excuse was the smoke in the air. But what about all the other people that performed? What about
We're
the
all
20,000
here
fans
waiting
that
for
are there
you.
to see you? You know, like, I don't know if it had to do personally. I don't know
Maybe
if it had
she's
to do as much
asthmatic.
with well, yeah, that's what she says. But then she performed the
Oh.
next day at incarceration, and everybody was like, "What the fuck?" You know,
Yeah.
like. But
Not cool.
I personally think it was something else beyond the smoke. Maybe the
she had
fact
a
that
tiff with like the event coordinator or something.
maybe I think she was initially supposed to be the headliner, and then when Gojira came in, Gojira is gonna be the headliner.
I mean,
You're not
so-
gonna
Let's go.
fight that, you know?
yeah, I mean,
It's an honor to just
I'll
open
tell
up.
you straight up, yeah, like Gojira is the headliner.
Oh, yeah.
The
Yeah.
second they came on stage, it was
No-brainer.
like, okay, yeah, this is how it's supposed to
Like,
be.
this
Like,
is on.
and that was really interesting. I mean, you know, you look at the way people are talking about it, and it's like Gojira. So I don't know if you heard about what happened
Drummer.
with them, but they couldn't get the drummer into the U.S.
Was that the first show with Luigi?
I think it was the second show. They
Second
played
show.
Rockfest the day before,
No.
or yeah, I think so. And so they got this fill-in drummer with 2 days' notice. This 21-year-old,
Yeah,
I know.
monster drummer.
and I mean, I've seen Gojira live a bunch of times, but I was watching, you know, like he killed it. He absolutely had it down, hit for
Yeah, he's a
hit.
monster.
And, you know, instant legend. He's on social media saying it's his first tour ever and stuff. But you think about it, and like, if you look at some of the comments, you know, people talking about what happened with Poppy and, you know, didn't come out on stage or acknowledge anything with the fans. Meanwhile, Gojira just shows up, you know, new drummer, 2 days notice, and just destroys like that. It's like, damn, like that's metal as fuck. You know, like, so it was, I think the overall like image of it, like people were just like, damn, Gojira, like, you know, like it was I don't know, that's what I got out of it.
Yeah.
So then whatever, that was the Friday at Upheaval. Then Saturday we were playing. Our set was, we were there from early on. It was so hot out. It was like 95 degrees. You know, very
And
limited
those
shade.
lights and the crowd and everything.
Oh my god, it was crazy. But you know, so I was explaining the whole one stage at the top of the hill, two stages at the bottom of the hill. So what was really cool is our set time with ALYXX was at 4 o'clock on the rising stage, and this was right after main stage had just finished, and another band at the top of the hill had just finished, and they had just had like there's the area where our stage was where all the food vendors were too. So anytime in between bands, like a crowd would come over. But after our set, 4:55 was Ginger on main stage, and it was like perfectly timed out, right in the middle of the day. Like the crowd was there, and the second we started playing, I could just see a crowd of like
Shift
thousands
over.
of people walking over. Yeah. It was crazy. It was, and then you're just in the moment, and you don't think about, how hot it is and whatever.
Just getting
And
through the songs and enjoying the time that you're there.
yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like normally if I'm at a practice, like the ALYXX songs don't wear me out or blow me out as a drummer at all. Like I've played way more technical stuff, but it's like in the moment in front of thousands of people, you just hit so hard that it's like, you know, I was like dead after.
Yeah.
The
all that
adrenaline
adrenaline.
rush.
Yeah, I guess it's the adrenaline rush and just like, I've been using these heavy Vic Firth metal drumsticks, and
What?
they're just called Vic Firth metal. They're hickory, but
Okay.
um, they're extra
They're
heavy,
thick?
a little bit longer, yeah, and they last long. Like, I've played an entire tour with one or two of those sticks,
Wow.
but damn, I was hitting so hard at that set, like. I finished a pair of it by the end of that set. Like
How's your
it
cymbals?
was. I had a little crack, but on one of them. But
Better the
so far they're
that
okay. I
heat
was
would have
definitely
warped it.
hitting them harder than I should.
Yeah.
Even looking back at the video, I'm like, wow, my poor cymbals.
It's literally the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
The heat.
Yeah. At least it was warm out. They were a little more malleable.
Yeah, that softens up the metal a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was okay. I didn't crack anything at the show, I think. I'm trying to think if anything fell apart or whatever.
How long was your set?
30 minutes.
Okay.
So we did that one, and it was awesome. I could see like towards the end of the set, the very end of the set, a couple people had started walking over to Ginger to get a good spot for that. Yeah, because it was packed. There was a lot of people there. I think upheaval was 15 to 20,000, I believe. Don't quote me on that. And then the day after, so we stayed another night in Michigan. Then we drove down to Incarceration. And let me tell you, Incarceration, if you haven't been to this festival and you want to experience like an incredible, like the modern day, like Ozfest, like you have to go. It's just so unbelievable, like what it's turned into. Because I was telling you, we played Incarceration campgrounds in 23.
How many years has
And
it been?
I think this was the eighth one,
Oh.
eighth or ninth one, something like that. But the amount of improvement from 2023 to now, it's like a whole different festival altogether. The main stage now, it's lined up against, it's at the Shawshank Redemption prison, like where they filmed the movie. That's where the festival happens.
That's
So
why it's called Incarceration.
right. So but also that main stage is like one of the craziest like modern engineering marvels I've ever seen.
Oh, man.
It's probably the biggest stage I've seen in my life, like actually. And what they do is they take like two big main stages. I even counted, so they had 64 front of house speakers on each one of these
Like
main stages.
measured everything.
Yeah. And then they had the side fills, which were like another 32, and that was on each stage. And then there was subs lined up all across the bottom. But when one of the bands played, these main stages were connected together. So when one of the bands played on one of the stages, they were coming out of all of these speakers, like literally hundreds of speakers, from both stages. And so you could stand 400 feet back and feel the low end like in your whole body, like clearly, from so far away. The sound is just unbelievable. I mean, it's something to see.
Where are these located?
So that one, it's called Mansfield, Ohio. But that one was at the Shawshank Redemption Prison Ground.
Right.
So I think that festival over the 3 days had like 90,000 ticket sales. Um, and we got there. I believe Motionless in White was performing on the main stage. Then what do you call it? Then A Day to Remember performed, and then they were still performing. We actually got in backstage, and we were networking, met a bunch of really cool people, and Limp Bizkit went on, opened with Break Stuff, and it was cool to see them from backstage. But this year we played the campground again, so this was really cool because Limp Bizkit was performing. It was the last day of incarceration, and we saw some of their set. We were backstage, and then we went back to the campgrounds. And basically, after the festival's over, they have just buses. We were talking about it. It's so cool. Like, we're going to play this show, and we literally have buses of people being dropped off right to where we're playing.
Nice.
Nice.
Like, just like, damn, they're all going to where we're going to be playing.
Prime
So
real estate.
yeah. But so we get there, stage is cool. Our manager actually put together the whole stage and everything, so shout out to him. And there was 3 bands on to close out the night, basically, and we were the 3rd band. So technically, last year we opened Incarceration, and this year we were the last band to play Incarceration.
That's dope.
And it was just so crazy because the first band played, and right after they finished, the power just went out.
What?
And not for the stage, the whole grid
thing
was out. And it was just pitch black, and all these campers, and everybody was wasted, and it was crazy. It was like, but what was so cool is like all these people had come to the front of the stage, and even though the power went out, like, they were there to party. Like, they did not care. Someone brought out like a Bluetooth speaker.
Making the best of it. Together.
Yeah, like everybody was just having a great time. The energy was so great. And so they played, the power was out for about an hour, and then it finally came back on. The band before us went on. They killed it. This band, Silver Tongue, really cool. We've played with them before, and it was awesome. And then we closed out the night. Another incredible set, incredible feedback. I mean, we didn't even have like a merch area or anything. So the second we got off stage, we just, we go back. Our van was off to the side stage, and like, just like there was like a line of people just like at our van, just waiting for signatures and pictures, and wanted to meet us. And so we just opened up the back of the van. We set up our merch and made it like a thing. And I gave away all these drumsticks and whatever. It was just such a great time. We were out there talking to fans for like till like 5 in the morning. It was crazy. But just such an incredible weekend. So we played these weekend shows, stayed out till like 5 in the morning, then woke up early, not early, but like woke up soon after to check out of the hotel, drove back to Jersey, got back to Jersey that night. The next day I had another gig with Maximus playing drums at Dingbats. So we got over there. Of course, no rehearsals, no prep. I hadn't even heard the song since the night before, or the show we had last played together. But
you just going in cold.
kind of. But I mean, we know the songs. Like,
Yeah.
I've recorded on the records, and so it's like it's ingrained in our memory. Honestly, it's beyond the point of like having to practice the material at this point. It's just a matter of like warming up the chops, and that was warmed up from the weekend. So it was like a perfect set. Then the next day we played Brooklyn, so it was just like nonstop. Now finally, here Sunday, a week later, I finally am like starting to catch up on the rest, and it's been crazy.
Oh,
Going from festivals to then going to like the smaller venues is like, what's the biggest difference to you, and what would you say is like your favorite of both?
Oh, I mean, the smaller venues feel like nothing after the festivals, honestly. But I think regardless of whether you're playing to 10 people or 10,000 people, you got to just bring the A game and the performance. Like that's just the identity of what you're putting out there. So it's like it has to be done right. But um, festivals, I feel like everything just goes by a lot faster. It just kind of happens in the blink of an eye. Um,
There's a lot of
you know,
rushing, right? Like in and out, off and on stage.
yes and no. I mean, Uh, we had 50 minutes to set up, which is
Oh, you
actually
got
like
plenty of
nice.
time.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because it was like spread out between the different stages. Um, it wasn't too many. Like Incarceration has a lot of bands perform. Upheaval's more more focused. It's not too many on the bill. So they leave ample time for setup and changeovers and everything. It was so hot out. Like I
Yeah.
cannot tell you with the dust and the smoke and everything. Like it was crazy. But we took our time to set up, made sure everything was good, and um, it was awesome. It's just like in the middle of the day, also as opposed to nighttime, and um, you know, it's you have to think about like from a band perspective, like soft ticket sales versus hard ticket sales, and and what I mean by that is like if you're playing a place that has like a built-in crowd, that's soft ticket sales. They're not versus if you are booked on that bill and like X amount of people are going there to see this band, which is like a really important metric to talk about with or like to mention to a promoter if you're trying to get booked on gigs and stuff. That's what they really want to see. What kind of hard ticket sales you have. So I think the festivals and playing in front of the thousands of people is a great way to get in front of the right demographic crowd, even though it is soft ticket sales, but I feel like it is almost like a shortcut to lead to those hard ticket sales, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why we always
Um,
try to focus on getting on some form of festival-like thing.
Well,
yeah,
people-
I cannot stress the importance. Like after seeing everything the way it went down this weekend, like, you know, I'm 100% about making that the focus is like getting on more festivals and like really showing what we're doing. Like, we showed Ohio, we showed Michigan what New York and New Jersey is bringing to the table.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
couldn't be more happy with it. Like it was awesome. It was a great time. Everybody, we made so many friends and fans, and I don't know, we are just joking about it the whole time. It was, and we're
I
like famous in
saw-
Ohio.
I also was
But-
watching your Insta stories, right? And
Mhm.
that beautiful place you guys stayed in between, it was like this huge cabin.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That must have been
Yeah.
cool.
So it is awesome because, like, all these years, I've been working in the studio and mixing bands and stuff, and that's actually so. It was like a result of all the hard work I've been putting in on that end, where there's a band 40 Below Summer. I just mixed their new album. It came out in October, I believe, and by the way, I have a guest solo on that record as well.
Nice.
Ooh.
So that's definitely something cool to check out. We just filmed a music video for it, so that should be out soon. And Mark Rizzo also did a solo on that. So it's he played in Soulfly, and he plays for Marauder now, and he's toured with a bunch of different bands, El Nino, whatever. So it was really cool to get a guest solo spot on that, but to also have mixed the record and also play keys on the whole record, because that's something 40 Below has never done in their career. They were a little hesitant towards how the fans would react towards it, but after doing the sound design on a couple things, they were like, okay, you got to do the whole record. That turned out awesome. So 40 Below, they basically have a bunch of backing from different ends and whatever, and one of the investors, we've learned to become good friends or whatever, but he invited us out. He's like, I got this cabin in Michigan, you guys could stay there, whatever. And so yeah, it's just a result of all the amazing hard work that's been getting put in, and we were planning on staying in Michigan. When we got there the Friday night. We wanted to be there Friday the whole day to see all the bands and stuff. But we didn't have a hotel booked for Thursday night, and because of the festival, all the hotels were booked out. So the cabin was about an hour and a half north, and just happened to be close enough where it worked out. So we went there, and it was just a great time. It was a little scary at first that night because it was in the middle of nowhere.
Pitch
And when I
black.
say like middle of nowhere, it was.
Coyotes and
Oh yeah, way more than
bobcats.
just that. Yeah, I think we came across this like little town in Michigan, and then we had to go down this one road for 7 miles just in between trees. Then we had to turn left onto this dirt road and go down that for 5 miles. And it turns out that that dirt road wasn't even the street we were supposed to take.
Oh no.
That was like an ATV trail.
Oh man.
So we took this big Ford Transit through this ATV trail, like in the middle of the woods at nighttime, like 5 miles through the woods.
Jeez.
It's all
To
part
get
of
to
the
this house.
story and the adventure.
And like everybody's just terrified at this point. I was like, just when we get to
Are
the
you
place,
sure we're
it'll be
supposed to be
beautiful.
on here?
Yeah.
Do you hear
And then we
that?
got there, and sure enough, it was everything we could have imagined and more. It was beautiful.
Could have sworn I seen
But yeah.
Bigfoot.
Oh my God, we were hearing some sounds. It was so isolated. And, we went out on the back porch and
You see all the stars and everything too.
not really because of the smoke.
Oh, that day.
Normally we would, but
Forget about
that was
that.
like probably the smokiest part of the whole trip.
Wow.
But we heard some sounds out there, and I don't know what it was, but it almost sounded like someone was walking in the woods with like a can attached to a string. And like we heard it on one side of the house, and then we heard it on the other side of the house. Meanwhile, we're like miles away from like anybody, and I don't know. We were just making up stories. We called him the Can Man.
Can man.
And these are the stories I love hearing.
Yeah. It was just like stupid band inside jokes and stuff, but it was all good and fun at the end of the day. And we woke up in the morning and we were well rested. We all had our own beds and stuff, and then made our way over to Upheaval Festival and started the weekend off. So
Let's show a clip of that. You sent me 2 of them.
So
Yeah,
set
I
it
should
up for
have.
us. Tell us which song and a little bit about this clip we're gonna show.
This is the first one.
yeah, so this clip, actually both at Incarceration and Upheaval, I had placed my camera right behind the drum kit on the drum riser, just to kind of see like what the crowd was looking like and stuff. So I actually have the whole set in the clips. I just color corrected the footage and just forwarded it in an email. I'm not sure what song you'll end up playing, but I know for the Upheaval footage, the whole drum riser was just shaking. And you could see the camera just slowly start panning. And eventually it's like you see it pans through the whole crowd, which is awesome. And but then then the end of the song it doesn't see anything, and then the guitar player is like, hey, check out your camera. So I fix it, and then depending on what part of that clip you play, you might see the crowd, you might see backstage, side stage area. And then Upheaval or Incarceration was nighttime, so completely different settings.
Oh, okay.
Incarceration, it was like cold out, and just the instruments adjusting to it and everything. But you could see how much the crowd was just about it and into it, and like it was amazing. In both cases, but yeah, I mean.
Okay, let's look
see
at
here.
it.
Oh, wrong one. Wrong button. Oh, and then this one.
Oh, yep. So that's Upheaval. Oh, this is like when we just started the set. So I'm putting on my in-ears. This is before the crowd was packed. So
Okay.
as this is starting, I'm seeing thousands of people walk over.
your kit?
Yep, this is my kit, and there's no audio from the board, and it's just straight camera audio. So this song is called "Creature of the Night" by ALYXX. You know, one of the songs off our EP that we wrote and worked on.
So you wrote all the drum sections on these songs?
Yes, yeah. So a lot of, you know, we got together, and it was really Brandon, the guitar player, and I, where we kind of like really worked on this EP together, and you know, she had some ideas and arrangements, but we would add instrumentation to it, and you know, real guitars and instrument and drums and everything, and then basically got it to the point of making them songs that we could play at these festivals and stuff. So
I mean, it's a lot of people I see already.
yeah. I know maybe like by the second or third song, it was like really packed. And that's what I was saying, like, we saw another band on
there's the panning.
stage. Oh yeah.
I'll start it from here. Let's see how this goes.
Oh yeah, there's the panning. That's the perfect spot. Yeah, this chorus of this song, it's called "End of Me," but the chorus is just, there's like an eighth note pattern happening on the kick, and I'll just do it with the right foot. But it was just, see, now the chorus stopped, the camera stopped panning. So it's like when I'm doing those eighth notes, just like it's, the whole stage is just shaking. But yeah, definitely hitting those cymbals like they owed me money.
Yeah.
I don't normally do that. It was in the moment. I'm
And
sorry,
it was
cymbals.
98 degrees also.
Yeah, it was hot as hell.
You can imagine.
So just like expending the energy in the heat and everything.
There's the backstage.
Yep, there's the chorus again. Eighth notes panning the camera. But you get an idea of like, you know, how big the crowd really was.
Oh yeah.
Kind of seeing it go left or right.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think I fixed the camera until after the song was over, so there we go.
Right around there.
Oh yeah, this is our cover of Holding Out for a Hero.
Yeah. China shot.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Wow. It was so much fun. So much fun.
Then this is
Oh, this is when you put it back.
Yeah, I reached back and just like made sure the camera. I mean, I was doing it all in the moment, so I probably got a little too much of myself, covering like half the shot or whatever. We had another angle the guitar player took on the side of the stage, so I figure we'll make some cool content, put them both together, you know. Yeah, this is the song Serenity, and I mean, that was, you know, there wasn't too much more than that to the set, but a great time, lots of fun, you know.
the second video is relatively the same shot, like behind the drums.
Yeah, same shot, but you could see it's nighttime.
Oh, because it was the next day.
Right, this is the next day after incarceration finished, basically. So, you know, as everybody's coming back to the campgrounds, the buses were dropping them off, and then, you know, our stage was kind of like right there. And it's like I was saying, the grid and power went out, but people did not care. They were just there to party. It was just
Like,
like,
we're doing this, like,
yeah, it
regardless.
was, everybody was there. And, you know, we played the set and everything, and like, it was the things that people were saying to us after that was so meaningful. They were like, wow, I really needed that. Like, you guys closed this off right. And, you know, I don't know. There were kids telling our guitar player they started playing guitar because of him and stuff. It's
And
like,
those
cool.
are the things
Yeah.
that
yeah,
you
it's like,
feel.
it's so meaningful, you know? So, I don't know. It was awesome. It was
Because
really cool.
these footage is not available anywhere right now. We're getting first look at
No.
this right now.
Yeah, I
Exclusive,
literally just
guys.
transferred this from my
Exclusive.
camera, color corrected it, and I just forwarded an email. I didn't. It's not even edited. It's just straight clips from
Raw.
the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, live. Like what you get is what we did.
Yes. Woohoo. Okay, so this is the night shot.
This up and then oh.
Oh yeah, I think this is right before we went on. We do like a little stage walk-in thing.
This is house sound right now.
Yeah. Oh, I had just finished setting up the drum kit, hit record on the camera. We walked off the stage, and then the intro starts. It goes for like a minute, and then we walk on stage. It's like a whole thing.
Oh, right here is the intro.
Yeah, there's the intro. Yeah.
Crowd's
Yeah, good
getting
crowd
hyped.
too. Yeah.
They're so hyped. I mean, it definitely wasn't as big as Upheaval, but there was a lot of people there. But you could just see they're ready to party. I mean,
Yeah.
Is there a lot of new fans that came out from there?
yeah, there definitely were a lot of new fans. A lot of fans had seen us at the Incarceration the year before. So there's something about playing those festivals, like, especially out in the Midwest, people really look up to the artists. Like, I don't know. It was just, the energy was really nice and right.
I love it.
Yeah.
Are you gonna
Trying
get
to-
audio from the board at all, or?
I would have liked to. We didn't, though. Not for these shows. There was just too much going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. We start with Creature of the Night.
Do you switch it up, the set list, or you stay with one set list?
We have 3 different set lists. For depending on whether we're doing a 30-minute, 35-minute, 40-minute set. But both Upheaval and Incarceration were the 30-minute set, so it was the same one. Yeah, I think this Incarceration set might have been a little tighter. Just overall better performance. It's also just like cool out and not 95 degrees.
You're not
Yeah,
burning
at
up
night.
there.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like there's like a lot of lighting in that stage either.
No. So that was the thing. This is right after the power just came back on.
Yeah,
So it
right.
was like, it wasn't like the full lighting. Like it was still, they were like figuring out what was going on.
Oh yeah.
Look at that film.
Yeah.
Clean.
How does it feel being like a god of both the drums and the guitar?
Honestly, the best thing is, I mean, it took so long to just, like I said, build the technique to do that on drums, So, but damn, playing drums live is so much fun. Like, if the second you get on stage at one of these festivals and you hit the kick drum and just hear it like
Booming
boom down the whole field, it's like, I don't know how to explain like the kind of power that feels like.
Like shooting
and that's
cannons
just like
out,
with
like-
one kick hit. So you do like some double bass with that. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
god.
You're
so
the heart. You're the
yeah,
the
like you
rhythm
can
of
see
the
people
song.
moving and dancing, and like just to know and feel that you're making that happen. It's amazing. It's so much fun. But it's very different from guitar. In a weird, strange way, I feel like drums are almost more.
say it, cause I believe it. I think the drummer is the most important.
No, I
Number.
know, but it's such a physical thing too that I feel like when you finish a set playing drums, it feels more rewarding from the perspective of the musician. I feel that way. I mean, I feel with guitar too. you know, like it's rewarding. I've played big shows where I filled in for bands, you know, 2, 3,000 people, and just because I'm not playing my own music, I was just like, you know, this is cool, but I don't feel the same sort of like I delivered what I really have to offer, I guess, you know. But obviously playing my own solo stuff, it's like I took years writing that stuff. It's so worked out that, you know, playing that in front of big crowds, it's like that's a cool, rewarding feeling. In a different way though. It's not, you know, I'm not super tired after it like I am with drums or, you know. So it's different. It's a completely different perspective.
Yeah. We got about 20 minutes left of our show, and
Wow,
we have a lot
already?
to still cover. I
Yeah.
know one of the things I like to bring up is from MAXIMUS NJ.
Yeah.
I came across a clip on Tim's new show that he launched on
Right.
Coral. Was it Coral?
Red Coral.
Red
Yeah.
Coral, yeah.
Yeah. I did the audio for that show, that Tim's show.
You did.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and I saw the clip of the interview with Maximus on
Yeah.
there, and it's funny. I overheard the interviewer mention a band that kind of resembles what he feels you guys sound like. That there's an influence, and it was Booyah. And
Okay.
I heard Booyah for the first time through when I used to stream drums on Twitch, and we would always throw that at me because like the Latin background and like the
Yeah.
metal.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's interesting to
I
hear
love
that coming out
showing
from somewhere
Booyah
else.
to people too.
Yeah, Booyah's fun.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah.
you
I
were there
definitely.
for that show?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
played drums on that show. I yeah, Maximus. So Alejandro, he's a vocalist. He also writes a bunch of the, you know, most of the stuff. He has like banks of riffs and stuff. Brings them into the studio, and then same thing. We make them songs. You know. Um, he does have a decent idea of like how he wants to do his drums. Um, but it's like what we were talking about earlier. Like when you start considering the capabilities of the band members, you try to think of like how you would write for them to be able to play it. But I feel like that's not even up for a single person to decide. You know, like Alejandro knows how he wants his drums a lot of the times, and I can mimic it and play what he wants me to play. But there are points where I definitely feel like, all right, like just let me loose and go crazy on this. Um,
Let me unleash.
they won't even necessarily think about how you're hearing a certain part or thinking of it, you know. So it's again, it comes down to the whole respect the musicians and what they have to bring to the table because there's so much to it. But yeah, the Maximus stuff is really cool. You know, another the new EP that we have, I'm so excited for that to come out because the mixes are turned out so badass on that. And the versions that are out, similar to my record, we put out singles and then they're going to come out with a full EP version, which we re-recorded from scratch after we had been playing the songs. And even the EP we have now, I mean, I wanted to keep the energy of it so raw and honest and true to the performance that I put all 5 songs in one session and hit record and did all 5 songs in one take. And that was it. Nothing, there's no, just one take, no edits, no comping, nothing. So, I mean, there's some editing, whatever, just like tightening up with the grid or whatever, naturally, as anybody would do. But there was no comping. It was just the one take for the whole EP. So it's very, you know, performance based, I guess, and really brings out the character of the songs.
And are you engineering this or mixing this?
Yes, yeah. So we did drums from scratch. We had the guitar DIs already. Reamped them through the Neve preamps and stuff. We did all the vocals. One of the songs, he had a guest producer come in and kind of direct some of the vocal melodies and stuff. But even with vocal tuning and, you know, arranging some of the screaming vocals, it was a big part of the production with these guys. So, yeah. And same thing, I know the other guitar player worked on some of the keys and some of the sound design stuff too. I worked on some of it. It was a nice. A lot of people. There's a lot that everybody in the band has to bring to the table, so it's good.
It's Great. Yeah. The other thing I'd like to talk about is your studio that you work out of.
Yeah.
You do engineering and recording sessions. Where can people find your studio, and how can they get in contact with you to get any recordings done?
So as of right now, I've been working as an engineer for so long. I've worked under several different studio names, whatever. I've been doing this so long that currently, after I've moved out of my last studio, I haven't really even branded my studio as a certain name or anything, and it's specifically because I have all the work. I'm working with enough people where I'm not actively out there looking for work. It's more like people that know they want to work with me, they're coming to me. So I don't promote myself too often.
That's how
You
good
know,
he is. That he doesn't even need to promote his shit. It's like
No,
word
no,
of
all
it's
mouth.
it's not that. I'm not even trying to make it
Everyone.
sound like that. It's like it's uh it's to allow myself to have enough free time outside of it
Yeah.
Right.
also.
A lot.
Because they'll know how
Um,
good you are. You're gonna be booked.
Like,
right. I mean, it's not even so much that. So, eventually I'm in a rehearsal space right now. This is the studio that I do a lot of mixing out of actually. I have my whole rack over here with the custom gear. You could see, I don't know what you could see. Neves and all the fun stuff. Amps, whatever guitar tones we want to reamp, whatever. Um, but so I have this studio and that's whatever. Like I can do mixing out of here, tune vocals, edit drums, anything, track drums. But I also started a business. It's called Studio Builder LLC, and it was about 7, 8 months ago now. And the focus of that is to build out recording studios, recording studio integration. So what we do is we come up with, the okay. Let me put it this way: the one thing that separates or like really makes it stand out from anybody else setting up a recording studio is it comes from the mixing background, but it's also setting up routing schematics and a workflow for people that most often they don't even really understand that they need. Um, so so I have one project I'm working on right now. In the case of, it's really just a drum studio, so it's you know geared for 19 mics. We got Neve preamps all around, Burl mothership, highest audio digital quality conversion available. But then, on the mixing side of it, there's all these different plugins and signal chains you would add. So instead of doing anything in box, we basically created a routing schematic to go for the entire mix chain, but analog, just the way we did it on the 40 Below Summer record. On the 40 Below Summer album, everything was chained off of a console. So we had, like 10 tracks for vocals. Every one of the tracks is going to its own individual optical compressor and then, FET compressor for vocal processing, EQ. Then the groups get sent to their buses and so on and so forth. So basically, the idea is to set up these signal chains so that at the touch of a button, someone could essentially get their final mixed result at the highest quality available. If you were to go to another studio to even get that level quality, you would, without a doubt, spend 300 to 400 an hour. Um, and so, it's the idea of like setting up these studios for other people that are serious about it. So,
And
I
this is
have
for
a
like equipment and also environment, like sound. Was it sound treatments? You do sound treatments?
well, yeah, sound treatment's definitely involved in it. I wouldn't even defer myself as the expert in that, although I do have a couple people I work with that are really, really highly rated, have designed some of the best studios. And yeah, it's more about making sure that they're set up with everything they need on the tech side, on the studio side, and really just make it like a solid workflow with ease. And I think the real benefit to it is a lot of people learn what they want over the years and kind of develop that sound, but by working with us, you're kind of creating a lot of the shortcuts and skip that figuring out part. Where eventually they're going to learn they want to do this with this piece of equipment, but it's here, it's already set up, and it's there for a reason, you know?
I think that you are an expert at everything you do.
Thank you.
Everything you touch is like golden. I would be completely saying that, yeah, Ali is your man. Zach Ali is the man, because everything that I hear coming from you is like amazing.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you.
With
I
all
really
your
appreciate
bands
it.
and all your projects.
everything.
Yeah,
Sound
just
amazing.
just
Super
gotta
impressed.
keep at it, you know? It's just years and years of doing it, and it's not stopping anytime soon. So,
You also got a degree in architecture.
well, I studied some architecture. I actually studied civil engineering also. So, before making a switch to music merchandising full time, that's where I took a concentration in jazz guitar, jazz drums. That's where I really started to play drums. It was when I made the switch to music degree. But yeah, I have a background in some architecture, some civil engineering. You know, took all the math classes and chemistry and physics and all that fun stuff too. So it was,
Yeah.
I don't know. After all these years of working on this stuff and working with gear, it kind of came full circle where like, you know, understanding the internal components of this analog hardware, electrical engineering, like, you know, I had learned about a lot of this stuff in school and then didn't touch any of it until it was right in front of me. It just happened to work out in that sense. But you know, it also that background kind of helps a lot with the business and you know setting up a certain space and what should be needed, what you know, just being aware of what I should be looking out for on so many different levels. So
Zach, you're like a man of many gifts and talents.
yeah.
I see. So I mean, the whole package right there, a 10. You're a 10.
Thank you.
I'm honored to have you here on the show today. And let us know, do you have any shows coming up that if someone wants to go see you in any of your shows?
Yeah. We just booked. I have a lot of Dingbats dates coming up. We just booked August 16th. We got on a gig at Dingbats, Zaki Ali band, and we will, for the first time at Dingbats, have the full lineup. So two
Wow.
8-string guitars, bass, and drums. So that one should be cool. I'm also playing the Dingbats with the Silencer August 22nd. That's with a bunch of old friends bands, so that'll be a good time.
You're playing in Brocklandia.
Yeah, well, I actually played there last month
Last month?
with Maximus.
Yeah, I saw that.
Really cool spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I liked it. It was very cool. It's cool to see a place like that in the middle of the Bronx. You know.
Because I never heard of it, and then I was like, oh, this must be one of those new. It was a train station, I read, and then they
Yeah,
converted
it's a pretty
it.
big space. And I guess it's relatively new too. I was talking to the sound guy over there, and you know, he was saying he just put together the whole stage and everything for it. It is very loud in there. You know, maybe a little acoustic treatment would be beneficial or whatever. But you know, it's a cool spot for sure. But relatively new venue. I think as they develop it and build it out, it's going to be a beautiful place.
Yeah, it's kind of like the place we're playing that they just had the small space where we met you, and then now they expanded it and they took over where the
karate
martial,
Yeah,
the
next
karate.
door.
Yeah, and so they're
Yeah.
gonna expand it and make it bigger. So we have high hopes that they're gonna be successful in doing that, because you see all these new venues popping up,
Yeah.
and it's awesome
Yeah.
to see bands being able to have more venues to grow with too.
Definitely. It's an interesting time. I mean, especially after pandemic, a lot of venues closed down. I
Yes.
know now a lot of new venues are popping up. So you know, there's definitely a lot of shifts in the scenes and where people were hanging out and where people were playing, where people were going to shows. So um, I don't know. A lot of shifts between bands too. A lot of bands broke up, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of new bands. So it's like a renaissance right now. We're living in it. You know.
It's cool to see like the how many bands I see on the rosters and playing bands, you know, in the same, in like the same, I guess, how would you say, like all of us are in it together, but we see it kind of rotating and you see bands growing. And
Yeah.
it's always cool to see that, but it's actually pretty small from what I see. It's not,
Yeah.
there's not
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of new bands coming and go. You see a lot of them quit, but then it's great to see that there is, you know, rock is alive and well, and there's more metal out there and more venues growing. And I just hope that we see more of that, more kids that come up to you and say, I started playing guitar, I started playing drums because of
Absolutely.
you know, because I feel like that's also a thing, is kids picking up instruments and being inspired by men like you.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, it's like you said, a lot of the same. You know, the people that are in it to be that are all about it are still a part of it, whether they're in the same band or playing with somebody else. There's a lot of you know, everybody kind of knows each other in the scene, so it's important that we keep doing our thing and sticking to it, and you know, whatever happens from it will happen, and it's hard to predict or know what that will be, but at the end of the day, you just got to keep going.
Keep going, keep growing, keep shining, baby. So we are at the end of our last segment, which is one of the most, it can be easy or hard depending on the person. You know, I think you just go with what feels right, what comes out. It's the 12 songs, the soundtrack of your life. So it could be any song, from the song you first learned how to play to something that inspired you to either play the guitar or the drums. Something that really hit you as a child, you know, growing up. It could be anything, but it's the 12 songs that signify Zach
Oh
Ali's
yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Let's think about this. So before I started playing music, I was talking about how it was like the new metal era and whatever. I remember as a kid. Okay, let's start like way back when I first like heard something. I was like, "Damn, this is awesome!" It was actually Limp Bizkit playing the Mission Impossible 2 theme song.
Really?
Yeah, I was like a little kid, and I thought, I mean, the movie was awesome too. At the time, I was like, "Oh my god!" But that was definitely one really cool one. I remember going to skate parks and they would have the sampler CDs. So there was another one I'd gotten into, a Lost Prophets song. I don't even remember what it was. It was like Shinobi or something. It was some weird name. It was still, I remember I had like a sampler CD from Rexplex. It was this huge skate park. So that was one of them. I remember I saw my first show there also, which was CKY. They were doing like a tour with like Bam Margera and like that whole Jackass crew. Um, so that was awesome. And then, you know, I was talking about Ozzy, Sabbath, Priest, Maiden, you know, like there were some great songs in there. I mean, definitely say Paranoid was a big one. Crazy Train was huge. That was the first full song I ever learned on guitar, like guitar solo and everything. Um, and then I don't know. I guess Enter Sandman too. What was that, five, six songs? Okay, but then is when I really started to get into like some of the more influential stuff that influenced me for years on. So I remember my friend when I was really young, he took me to my first, let's say, real metal show, and we went to see Blind Guardian at BB King's.
Blind Guardian.
Ah,
Yeah, and you know they opened
legendary
with
spot too.
yeah, Into the Storm. I remember that show. I stood in front of the subwoofer and heard the kick drum with the 16th note guitars just, and I felt it in my chest. Like the first time, I was like, after that point, I just started subconsciously programming double bass on drum machines and stuff. And I don't even know why, but it was like, it had to be in everything. So that was definitely a huge turning point. and then I don't know. I'd gone to a couple Summer Slaughter tours. There was like a big like death metal phase I had. Necrophagist was one of them. They were the headliner, like I'm thinking like 2008 or something. Um, they played a couple songs. Seven was one thing I had really put some time into learning on drums, developing double techniques with the kick drum, and let's see. And then, Dream Theater obviously was a huge part of it. And I remember my introduction to them was Saints from Memory, and it was just like the most beautiful thing I'd ever heard.
Yeah, that's my favorite
Um,
album. Is that your
yeah,
favorite album also?
yeah, absolutely, hands down. And it stayed like one of their best sounding albums for so long. It was even after that. Um, yeah, that whole album is like I've listened to it so many times.
Masterpiece.
Yeah. I remember it really stuck out to me the first time I heard Overture 1928, even though it's like a combination of all the songs, but the way they instrumentally put it all together was really, really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many songs on that record. Home.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, there's so many good ones. So that was good. Um, I can't really say. I mean, I never like fully got into like Meshuggah or anything until later on after playing drums for years. But Bleed was a huge thing. You know, it wasn't so much about like, oh yeah, it's the same rhythm over and over again. But after a certain point of playing drums, I made a point to cover the song and spent months and months learning it. And I remember there was one section of the song I had to like write it around. I like wrapped around the whole page like 2 times. So as far as like accolades and learning, like that was definitely a huge part of it on drum kit. There was another band, Textures. They had this album called Drawing Circles. I think it was 2006. If you need some rhythmic inspiration, go listen to that record. It's so ahead of its time and just still otherworldly. That's a good one. I don't know how many are we at
You're
right
at
now?
11 right now. You got one more left.
Oh
Make
yeah,
it count,
yeah.
make it count.
Make it count. I guess guitar wise, after really learning all of this, or like going through the motions of learning some of these odd patterns and rhythms on drum kit, it became a lot of my focus shifted back to guitar and learning a couple techniques to move that phrasing through the guitar. So I definitely want to give a huge shout out to Jeff Loomis for that on those 2 solo records he has out. Absolute masterpieces. I learned a lot of technique from that, actually. Some of those things are absolutely impossible to play. I always say this about guitar players.
Not for you.
No, it's crazy. It's
Jeff
actually
is nuts.
really insane. He is
What
like
can't
one of
you
the top
do?
guitar players. But the one thing I like to say about, there's ways of looking at guitar players and from a guitar player's perspective. And so, if you sit down with a guitar and note for note try to learn a John Petrucci solo, there's an aspect of it that seems more like it was meant to be played on a guitar, right? I didn't throw Symphony X out there because I absolutely love Michael Romeo also. But the same thing applies where if you listen to a Michael Romeo solo and try to figure it out, it just feels like something alien that is not meant to be on a guitar whatsoever. And somehow this guy put it together. Jeff Loomis kind of has a nice balance of that, but definitely more on the side of like not meant to be played by like a human. So it's always cool to gauge, people's overall sense of writing in that sense, if that makes any sense. But, one way to look at guitar playing, I guess.
You did it!
Nice.
All right,
Man,
Zach.
Zach, it's been such a pleasure, such an honor to get to
Yeah,
know you. Your
likewise.
brain is just incredible. I just love how you have. And then the thing about it is you're so humble and sweet and easy to talk to that I didn't even feel that it went by so fast and we could have
It
just
did. It really did.
talked
Thanks
for
for
so
having me
long.
on the podcast, and it was really cool being on here and getting meaningful questions, like real musician questions. I feel like it brought out so much more out of the interview, and I don't know. It was cool. There's plenty to talk about.
I'm sure we have a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
touched on. But yeah, we're excited to see all the stuff you're going to be releasing soon. All your upcoming shows. We definitely want to check you out again soon, especially with your other projects. And
For sure.
maybe even jump on the same bill with you and open up for you.
Let's
guys at
do
one
it.
point,
Let's make it happen.
Woo!
but
So
yeah.
August
August 16th.
16 is the first one.
Yes. I have a show with Maximus August 8th, upstate New York somewhere. I don't even know where. And then there's more shows. There's talks of putting a couple things together September, October. So it's just not confirmed at the moment. So we'll get back on that. But there's more shows coming up.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna go check you guys out because we really enjoyed it, and it's gonna be with your whole band too, right?
Yeah,
So,
different experience.
excited for it.
Awesome.
All right, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in, watching. Make sure you're following Zach and all of his projects. Links are in the description on YouTube and also in our commands. If you do command Zaki Ali, all of his links will pop up. And we can't wait to see you guys again soon. So until then, have a great rest of your summer, fall, and keep up to date with us on our socials and on our newsletters on who and when we'll have our next guest and when we'll be playing live with Sky
which
Museum.
is
So, we have a show.
Thursday.
On Thursday, we have a show at Club
nice.
Andromeda.
The new
Nice.
stage, the new
Location. They expanded it into the large spot, so that's gonna be fun.
Okay,
They invited us
nice.
back, so they liked our set, and they were like, "Yeah, let's do another one." So like, okay, great. So
Nice.
this Thursday, Club Andromeda, Pearl River, New York. At I think they start open doors at 6. So we go in at
Okay,
8.
okay.
So,
I'll
right,
see if I
guys.
can make it.
awesome.
All right, thank you for everything.
Thanks to everyone. Thank you, Zach. Stick around to the end, and then
Yeah.
we'll do the final goodbyes.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Much love.
Much
See you
love.
soon. Bye.
Bye.